Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Candela. I'm a hypnotherapist and a transformation coach. Welcome to my channel. You're about to listen to a recording of one of my regression sessions. Enjoy. I want you to tell me the very first thing that you see below you, or the very first impressions that you get as you reach the surface.
I feel like a tightness in my chest. The breathing is more shallow.
And do you notice anything around you?
It's a little foggy. I might be at like a higher elevation.
So what I'd like you to do is just look down at where your feet are and tell me what you're wearing on your feet. You'll be able to see it clearly.
It looks like hiking boots.
Okay, what color are they?
They're brown with black soles. And then there's a light blue edging close to where the laces are.
Okay. And as you become aware of your body, what are you wearing on your body?
I'm wearing a pullover. I have on pants and a backpack. It feels really heavy.
Are you in a male or a female body?
A male body.
Young or old?
I'd say middle-aged.
Are you healthy?
Yes, but my body isn't as healthy as it used to be.
Is there clarity now to the surrounding area? Is the fog lifting?
The fog is lifting, but there's still some in the area, but I think I'm hiking on a mountain. It's like from the elevation.
So just tell me what you're noticing next to you or around you.
I'm noticing the rocks along the mountain, and they're very rigid. There's not a clear path to be following. And the fog is actually more below me, like I can see up above, but the fog is covering my visual to see below the mountain.
Might it be the cloud?
It might be.
How high are you above the ground level?
I'm not quite sure, but I've been hiking for a couple days.
And are you there by yourself?
Yes.
And how do you feel right now as you're looking around?
My body's feeling tired, but I'm feeling grateful for it to allow me to have this experience.
So I'd like you to now become aware of why you came here. What was the motivation for you to go on this hiking trip?
I wanted to clear my head. It seems like I'm at a crossroads in my life, and I wanted to figure out what to do next.
Did you reach your destination yet? Are you about to turn back, or is there still more to go?
There's still more to go.
On the count of 3, you're going to reach the turning point. You're going to go as far as you were planning to go, or as you could go. 1, 2, and 3. See yourself at your destination. Tell me what you're noticing.
I'm at the top. The air is very thin and it's hard to breathe. I sat there for a while myself, just looking over the edge.
How high does it seem?
It's high enough that you can't see below how far it goes.
How do you feel there?
I feel very peaceful. My mind has actually been cleared, which is what I wanted.
How long did it take you to get there?
4 days.
And just become aware for what reason did you want to clear your mind.
I experienced a loss of some sort. I don't know whether it was a death or a relationship ending.
And you said you were at a crossroads. So what are you deciding?
I think I'm deciding how to move forward.
When you clear your mind, what happens?
I realized that I don't need to have a clear direction and that I need to enjoy the journey.
Do you feel that you accomplished what you came there to accomplish?
I feel like I did. I found a sense of peace and I had some time to think on the walk up, and I met some people along the way, and they actually met me at the top.
So there are people next to you right now?
Yeah, and we're all just celebrating, sitting, enjoying the view.
You said before that it was warm. What season is it?
I'm not sure what season it is now, but it's cold on top of the mountain. There's a lot of wind, but the sun is shining.
And so what is your next step?
I'm going to spend more time there and then climb down the mountain and go home and move forward with my life because I no longer feel stuck.
So was this climbing the mountain as in sort of scaling it, or were you walking up a trail?
I was walking, but there were also parts where we had to scale it.
And as you begin your journey back, do you return with the people that you met?
I leave before them.
Okay. So on the count of 3, I'd like you to see yourself standing in front of a place where you live when you're back on the ground. 1, 2, and 3. Describe it to me.
It's a little cottage made of stone, but the inside is very warm. And it's in this beautiful, almost like a meadow with hills. And you can see mountains in the background.
Who lives in this house with you?
I have a wife.
So just let that go for a minute. Tell me what you see next to the cottage or around it.
It's just like a big clearing. The cottage sits on top of a hill. There's not much that's there. I can't see any neighbors.
So go ahead and enter the house. Tell me what you see inside.
The main entrance goes into the kitchen. And I can see my wife cooking dinner. And she's smiling and dancing. And there's a fireplace in the living room that keeps it warm.
Is it a 1-story house?
Yes.
What do you see beyond the living room?
In the living room, I can see some of the furniture, and there's this beautiful braided rug. And if you walk past that, there's 2 bedrooms. It's a smaller home, but it has a very cozy feel.
Who occupies the bedrooms?
The main room is my wife and I's bedroom. The second room used to be my son's. He passed away.
Tell me about your son.
He was younger, about 5 or 6. He was always smiling, and his laughter would fill the room. He got sick.
What were his symptoms?
And just see his body getting weaker. He looked very frail.
And what do you do to get him better?
We took him to a doctor, but there wasn't much they could do for him. So we stayed in the cottage and tried to make him comfortable.
What did the doctor say?
The doctor said that he wasn't sure what exactly was wrong with him. He wasn't able to absorb any nutrients, so his body just kept getting weaker.
Is that one doctor the best help that was available?
Yes, it was a very remote area. The doctor came to our house.
How long did your son live after that?
About a month.
And is this why you decided to go on that hike up the mountain?
Yes.
How long ago now did your son pass?
About a year.
Do you have any other children?
No.
So tell me how it affected your relationship in your life.
My wife and I were both heartbroken, and neither of us really knew how to move forward. It strained our relationship a lot. There was a lot of fighting. It was like we both weren't fully present, kind of just going through the motions.
Now tell me what you do during the day. Do you work?
I like to craft things. I make tables and work with a lot of wood, and I can sell those.
Where do you sell them?
There's a shop that's in town.
How far is the town from you?
About an hour walk.
How do you usually get into town?
I usually walk.
Do you have any other mode of transportation?
A horse.
What does your wife do during the day?
She would stay at home with her son, but after he passed, she didn't really know what to do with herself. She would sometimes come to the shop with me, or come into town and go visit other people.
The things that you sell, is that enough to support all of you financially?
We don't make a lot, but we have enough to live off of.
So now that a year passed since your son's death, how's your wife doing?
She's still struggling, but I can see that she's starting to have some good days again, but they're very few and far between.
Did you find anything to occupy her time?
She likes to bake.
Is it just for the two of you?
It started off that way, but that's why she goes into town. She started off just giving them to friends, but now she'll sell them at a stand.
Does she enjoy doing that?
She does. It's a distraction for her.
When you returned from the mountain, you said that you were not feeling stuck anymore. Tell me what shifted for you.
I realized that even though it was very painful, my son was meant to pass, and I was able to clear my head enough to find joy again and take joy in what I was doing, which I hadn't done since he passed.
Now tell me why you realized that your son was meant to pass.
I think it was a lesson that my wife and I both had to experience, but I'm not exactly sure why. I just feel more at peace with what happened.
So that sounds like you are viewing it from a spiritual perspective.
Yes.
Is your wife seeing it that way?
She's not.
Tell me about your understanding of it then.
When I was on the mountain, I had a dream And I don't know who it was, but it was a very comforting being. And they told me that it was meant to be that way. And they didn't explain why, but when I woke up, I felt more peace. And that was the day that I reached the top of the mountain. And I realized that even though I didn't understand the reason that it was meant to be that way, and that I shouldn't be stuck on that one event, that I should still try to take pleasure in life and to learn, and that maybe I would understand it one day.
Before you had that dream, did you have the same perspective on life and on events?
I didn't. I was very caught up in day-to-day life and trying to make enough money to support my family. And at one point, I started woodworking because I really did enjoy it, but along the way, I lost that joy. And then after my son passed, I felt like I had lost the feeling of joy altogether. I didn't know if I would feel happy again.
So it was that dream that was the turning point for you?
Yes.
So on the count of 3, I'd like you to take yourself back into that dream. 1, 2, and 3. We'll just become aware of being within that dream, as though you're dreaming again. And as it unfolds, just tell me what you're experiencing.
So when I laid down to sleep and the dream came to me, it just appeared of this bright light. And there was this figure that came out of it. And it was a man, and I could see myself in my dream too. And he put his hand on my shoulder and told me that it was meant to be.
Describe him to me.
He's wearing all white, and there's just this bright white light that's surrounding him.
Can you see his face?
He looks similar to me. We were related.
You are related?
Yes.
Is he someone that's related to you, or is he a part of you? You can ask him.
He was a part of me.
And so you see the light all around him?
Yes.
So can you still recognize the facial features or details, or is it more like just a figure?
At certain points I can make out some features, but most of it is just light.
And what happens then?
After he tells me that it was meant to be this way, he told me that my son is safe and that he is happy and that I deserve to be too.
And is he talking to you with words?
It's telepathically.
Does he seem familiar to you?
Yes. I feel very comfortable and I trust him.
Does he explain in any more detail why it was meant to be this way?
He says I had to learn, but I'm not sure what it is that I had to learn.
Let's ask him to clarify what was the lesson in this experience for you.
I had to know loss to understand and empathize with others, and to be able to know how to find joy and understand that none of it is permanent and that I will see him again.
Was it the same lesson for your wife?
It was a different lesson for my wife.
What was it for her?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And I wonder if you can ask him to bring your son forward so you can connect with him for a moment. Would that be okay?
Yes.
And what happens?
He brought my son and appeared from out of the light. And he's smiling and laughing like he always was.
What age does he appear to be?
the age he was when he passed away, but his body is much stronger. It's my little sister from this life.
So is he part of your soul family? Does he travel with you through the life journeys?
Yes.
And can you ask him if it was his choice to come in for short life?
It was his choice. He did it because he loved me and wanted to help me grow.
Knowing that he's well, you can give him a hug. Just let him go for now. And as you return your focus to that being, I wonder if you can ask him if he is your soul, your higher self, or if he's your guide.
He's my guide.
Is he a guide just in that life, or does he guide you through different lives?
He's been with me in multiple lives in different forms, but not in every lifetime.
And why does he seem to look like you?
Because he wanted me to understand that he was me and part of me.
Is there any other message that they have to bring to you or to your wife, or even to the future you as a listener?
To open yourself up to both joy and love. Because even experiencing loss, you need to understand that feeling.
So you can thank them for that experience, that connection. Tell me what happens next in the dream.
I just see the light floating away. When I wake up, I feel a very strong sense of peace, and I feel very motivated to make it to the top of the mountain and to continue forward with my life.
And that's the day when you reach the top?
Yes.
And when you return home from that journey, what happens with your wife? Do you talk to her about this experience?
She sees the change in me when I come home, and she wonders what had changed. But when I told her about what had happened, she didn't understand. And she didn't understand how I could say that there was a reason for it happening. We had moments of connection or moments where she found joy again, but they were always short-lived. Things were never really the same.
And what about you?
I felt happier. I found joy in everything I did, and I felt a deeper sense of connection, but she never fully understood it.
Deeper sense of connection with what?
With everything. I became more friendly even with everyone that I spoke to. After my son passing, I'd kept more to myself, and I felt like I'd opened myself up more. But it was difficult to feel that way and want to pursue that when my wife wasn't there yet. And I felt in a sense that I had abandoned her because she wasn't able to find joy the way that I was.
Become aware, if you understand now, what the lesson was for her.
She was supposed to learn how to let go. Her whole life was about our son, to the point where she became obsessive, but she was never able to actually release that even after his death.
Were the two of you supposed to contribute to each other's lessons?
I tried to help her. I wanted her to be happy. I wanted her to learn what I had learned, but I don't think that she was ready. And she taught me many lessons throughout our marriage about caring for others, because she was very caring and felt everything so deeply, which is why I think she had a harder time coping.
So on the count of 3, I would like you to move to the last day of that life. 1, 2, and 3. And tell me what's happening.
I'm in the cottage, the same one. I'm laying down. It's hard to breathe. I'm older now.
How old?
Maybe in my 60s or 70s. I can feel that my body is weaker now, but I feel like I've done what I needed to in this life. But I wish that I could have helped my wife more.
Is there anyone with you?
My wife is with me. She's been taking care of me while I'm sick, and I feel really guilty about putting her through this again and having her watch another death. I don't want her to be alone.
What symptoms do you have?
It's something with my lungs. It's hard to breathe. My breathing is rattled. Everything feels constricted. My bones are aching.
How long have you been sick?
Not long, but it turned quickly.
Is there any medical help available for you?
No.
Has the doctor been in to see you?
He came once at the beginning, but it's later in life now, so there's not much they can do.
How does the doctor get to your house?
I believe he walks.
And so as you're lying in bed, are you talking at all to your wife?
We had been talking towards the beginning, but now it's hard for me to talk. She tells me that she loves me and that she's there for me and that it's okay for me to pass.
So as you take your next breath, I'd like you to allow your spirit to lift gently out of the body and begin to float out. And as you look back at the life and the body you just left, what goes through your mind?
That I'm thankful for the lessons that I learned, but I wish that I had learned them earlier so that I could have shared that with my son, and that I wanted my wife to be happy, and that I hope that she finds that.
And as your perspective broadens, you'll be able to see your wife in the future. How does she fare as she moves beyond your death?
She doesn't do well. She dies soon after I do.
As your spirit continues to rise and expand its consciousness, you may find that there is someone meeting you there, welcoming you back. Tell me if you notice anyone.
I just see a white light, and I feel a sense of warmth and comfort.
Is that a being, or is that just a state of warmth?
I think it's a state of warmth.
And as you now perceive your life from a higher perspective, is there any more that you understand now about your soul journey through that particular life?
That I shouldn't feel guilty for leaving my wife behind. She's on a different part of her journey, so I shouldn't feel like I abandoned her, because we'll meet again.
And in fact, become aware if the souls of your son and your wife are present in your current life as Alicia.
My son is my little sister.
And how about the soul of your wife?
It's my mom.
What is your path now with them? In which way are you supporting each other on a soul level?
I'm still trying to teach my mom how to release some of that and find more joy in little things, and to take time for herself and also practice self-care, not give all of her energy and time to everyone else.
So that lesson of letting go and finding joy continues for her.
Yes. And then in this lifetime I've been able to share a lot of that joy with my sister, but I'm not sure what we're supposed to be teaching each other now.
And it's all right. If there is a particular contract that you have, then it will become apparent to you, perhaps in the coming days and weeks. And perhaps you're just there to enjoy that joy that you can share. Now I want you also to become aware of how that particular journey, that lifetime, is relevant to your soul's journey in Alicia's lifetime.
I've struggled in this life with feeling like I've abandoned certain people in a sense, and this came to me to tell me that I'm not abandoning anybody, that we're all going on this journey together. And I let the thought of that type of loss block me from being more open with people, but I need to allow myself to be more open and vulnerable, because ultimately that's what's going to help me grow.
Did you absorb that message? Did you hear it?
I did.
Okay. So I'd like you now to allow all of the beings that we have interacted with to recede to where they belong, with much love and thanks for the help and information that they have given Alicia today. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you click on the bell, you will be notified of any of my future postings. Thank you. Bye.